Here's my final review on Baldur's Gate 3 after 186 hours of gameplay. This is a game that is full of amazing, deep storylines. It's full of some questionable decisions at times, and gameplay mechanics that sometimes can take a little bit to get used to. This game is a turn-based strategy RPG, a deep RPG, one which has choices and activities around every single corner, and one that boasts a lot of different endings. This game has been made by Larian Studios. It's currently on the PC and the PlayStation 5 and expected to hit the Xbox rather soon as well. Now, you may be familiar with Larian Studios. I mean, apart from the fact that this game has been in the spotlight since release and pretty much is everywhere depending on what social media platforms you have, Larian Studios are the same people that made Divinity Original Sin, and that is one hell of a game, perhaps even one of the best games ever made. And I can tell you now that if you have ever played Divinity Original Sin, then you're gonna have a rough idea of what it is you're gonna be getting into when it comes to Baldur's Gate 3. They've taken everything that they put into that game and tried to crank it to 10. And with Dungeons and Dragons theme never being more popular, this of course happens to be the perfect time for this absolutely beautiful AAA ARPG. Okay, with all of that being said, what exactly is Baldur's Gate 3? What do you do? What are we going to be getting into? And what can I expect coming in as a brand new player? Well, Baldur's Gate 3 puts you in real control. You have player agency. You essentially are stumbling through this story. And of course, you get to truly decide how it ends. You're going to be spending an awful lot of time in character customization. And if you don't, then let me just tell you now, you're probably making a mistake, because the character customization is one of the most important things you can be doing in your game, because it's going to decide so much going forward, and there's certain elements of it that can't be respec'd later, which is controversial with the genre. Within this character customization, you're going to be changing your race, your class, your subclass, your ability points, your appearance. There's so much here for you to get stuck into, and many people spend most of the time in the actual appearance part of this character customization. Once that's over, of course, you're going to be jumped into a world that's unfolding around you. I'm not going to give away too much about the story, but it's a gripping tale, and it's one full of twists and turns. Larian Studios has done an amazing job to get you hooked into certain parts of this story, and if you know, you know, but they really have done an amazing job to get you hooked. Depending on your party, depending on your character yourself, almost every situation can be interpreted rather differently, and that's why this is the perfect game to play multiple times. When it comes to dialogue, almost every single character has a list of things that they can do and say and be interpreted rather differently. Everyone is beautifully voice acted as well. And some of the cutscenes in this game are just breathtaking.
It slows for a moment, and the air becomes thicker. The master of the house is coming.
You. There are many things in your world that I loathe. Litters of kittens, chattering children, the noise, and the chaos of it all.
Honestly, this has to be one of the best well put together games I've ever played. The narration in this, the different voiceovers within it, the cutscenes, is just absolutely amazing. And a quick shout out for this musical scene that just got implemented into a fight.
No more deals, it's over! The final act, you're doomed. No more grace, it's over! This house of hope!
The people behind Larian Studios certainly know how to put together a well-made game, and it's one that continues to enthrall the deeper you get into it as well. I mean, yes, there is a main quest, a main storyline, but as you go through this game, you'll pick up multiple quests in multiple different locations, all of them sometimes accumulating in a single spot. There are companions for you to recruit or, of course, kill off. Every single one of those recruitable companions, though, has their own deep line quest that you can do carry out and get closer to those companions, sometimes even having relationships with those companions as well, some of them being a little bit more easier than others. And of course, earlier we did mention about there being true player agency, and as in you can do what you want whenever you want. This happens to be just a small part of this game. It means almost nothing whatsoever. You run across a little squirrel, and depending on what build you have, what your temperament's like, or how you want to play the game matters rather a lot to this little squirrel. It really is mind-boggling to think just how much detail has been put into this game. It's a shame that other games aren't more like this one today. Since release, there has been a number of different patches, a number of different balancing options as well. Larian Studios also keeps a fine eye on the community and their wishes, and sometimes even implements certain changes that the community want within these updates. Now, I'm not going to tell you this game is perfect. It absolutely has crashed within the 100, almost 200 hours that I've put into the game. There has been options. However, for the majority of this game, I've actually been playing this as in a split screen co-op. Now, there is a 4-player multiplayer co-op version of this game as well, but I've been playing split screen most of the time. And with that being said, I have absolutely no tethering issue whatsoever. Me and my partner can go almost anywhere we want within this world, completely separate of each other. And the game performs surprisingly well, considering the strain we must be putting on the PlayStation 5 that we're playing on. In 2023, we almost expect games to launch busted, but I can tell you now that Baldur's Gate 3 is far from busted, performs very, very well. Yes, it has its issues in places, but this is one of the smoothest experiences I've had in this kind of a genre of a game in a very, very long time. There should be put in a small caveat with this. If you've never played a D&D game before, if you've never played this kind of turn-based game before, don't just say that this game isn't for you, because Larian Studios does a great job of holding your hand and helping you understand the different elements of this game. So if you're after a game with a unbelievable story, if you ask it after a game that allows you to make choices, an open world RPG that you can literally spend dozens and dozens of hours within, then this really could be the game for you. The dice rolls at first, as someone who doesn't really understand what they're doing, can be slightly daunting, as well as the different buffs that come with it. A lot of this game is all about these dice rolls. If you succeed in the dice rolls, you get rewarded. If you fail in those dice rolls, well, sometimes your entire game can be a little bit messed up, but that's part of the fun of playing this game. It does come with 3 different difficulties, so if you are brand new into this game does have you covered. If you're after something a little bit more challenging, again, this game also has you covered with that too. But I can tell you right now that Baldur's Gate 3 is absolutely worth the journey. And of course the £70+ it does cost you to play. All in all, this has to be one of my favorite games that I have played this year, and I've played a lot of them as well. Baldur's Gate 3 is definitely up there for the nominations of Game of the Year, and I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. I believe it's the highest rated game that I've given this year as well. It's absolutely blown my mind at just how well it has run. And I'm already plotting out my next playthrough and possibly the playthrough after that as well. So if the question is it worth your money? Well, it absolutely is worth your money. And if you're interested in these kind of games, I would challenge you to tell me that it isn't one of the best versions of it that you have ever played. But as the game has been out for quite a while now, let me know down in the comments if you've played this game and what your thoughts on it, what you were most surprised about, and what perhaps you think could be improved upon. But until next time, I've been a monk who's been inquisitively curious, and I will see you in the next video real soon. Until then, take it easy and happy gaming.
Shovel is bored. Shovel wants to murder Eyes. Yes, like setting things on fire.